folks, welcome back. It's John Pettipas doing my 20th anniversary of that horrific day, September 11th, 2001. And it's now 16 minutes before 12 noon on Thursday morning, which is the 9th day of September. And I vividly remember that day. The background you're going to hear, God bless America. God bless America. Stand beside her with a light from above. Now, that morning at 9:45, we had a bus coming in, Grand Circle Tours out of Boston, Massachusetts. And wonderful dear friend Clarence McDonald come up, one of the local graduates needed ice. And he was coming up to pick up the cashier phone and there was ice delivery. And I was out on the front deck stocking up the cucumber and pickling supplies, green tomato boxes before the bus come in. And I normally have the U.S. News on in the morning, but I was busy getting ready for the bus. You should shave, shower, shampoo, get your white shirt on and tie and so on. And Clarence said these words. They knocked the big building down in New York. He didn't tell us, all he said, they knocked the big building down in New York, and I knew what it was right away, the World Trade Centers. And they'd taken the bus tour come in probably about, went in the office, turned the TV on, office TV over the house for the small portable in office always maintained to keep in touch with the world. You can't keep isolated from the world. And it taken all times right now, the time we're living, you do not want to look too small, navel gaze, and be isolated from what's going on in the big picture in the world. So anyway, I got dressed, and the bus came in probably about 11:30. And by that, people knew what was happening by then. People had cell phones. And got in the bus and explained President Bush II had been down in the classroom with school kids in Florida. And he'd been informed. And at that time, the second building was still standing. Okay? The second building was still standing. So the tour guide come in. She's from Hingham, Massachusetts. She come in office and watched it. I can still see her there. And guests knew what was going on. We all prayed the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those trespass against us, and lead us not to temptation. Deliver us from evil. Amen. Thine be the kingdom. So anyway, the band played, Johnny Bushy and Marie and May played soft, soothing music. And they went on to Cape Breton. And that really was a watershed moment. They take and later that day we seen planes go by. Actually didn't see them. We could see. We don't see them personally. We're on the flight path. We're on the flight path for the going over to Europe. We're coming from Europe back to Halifax, LaGuardia, Kennedy, New York. And that afternoon, you could see just oodles of planes landing because they ordered all the planes to land. So there was just a stream. And a sunny, it's a fall day, obviously, September 11th, clear blue sky day. You can see a silver type plane. You can see the reflection of the sunlight. So we're right on a flight path between Europe and Orly, Charles de Gaulle, Heathrow in London, and so on, Gatwick, and back to New York and Boston and Toronto, Montreal. So we can see all those planes, and they landed close as airport they could get. A lot of them it reminds me of Gander, Newfoundland. The wonderful people of Newfoundland. The wonderful people of Newfoundland. Okay, they're so kind and compassionate, and they landed in Gander. It's a big Gander, Newfoundland airport strip field. And they put up at people's hotels were packed. They put up at people's homes. The Walmart in Gander, Newfoundland sold out of underwear because you're away from home, and what's the first thing goes? Underwear. Wasn't around and told the paper like biological germ wear for communist China coronavirus. It was underwear they sold out on. Okay, they take and there was a gentleman in previous summer had a big black SUV with his family, and he was responsible for the elevators, escalators, people movers in the World Trade Center. A few days later, the Globe and Mail did a write-up, and this man may be in heaven, maybe he's still with us. Maybe he was safe, low enough floor he could get out. Some people couldn't. They take in. So that gentleman was in as a customer. We brought him to the kitchen, introduced him to they were getting takeout. They were going to Cape Breton to get lobster rolls to go, and what wonderful gentleman he was. They take and I hear a lot of coverage right now. It could have been a lot worse. I don't like this. It was a horrible day. Mr. Whitey's son Charlie from Brooklyn, New York, was 5 miles from their business in Brooklyn Terminal Market, New York, and I've said it's terrible. People just vaporized in thin air. Seen a piece the other day now on news that 40% of the bodies they were able to recover, they were never able to identify. Okay, and that's sad for the families. They don't have a place to pray for their loved ones. They take it could have been a lot worse. If I told you on a Tuesday morning that the World Trade Center, that has about 50,000 people working in when it's fully occupied, the two buildings, the two towers, that those buildings in barely an hour and something would be down in the ground, less than 2 hours down flat in the ground in a pile of dust and rubble, that only 2,000 some people would die. I'm not making light of this, but 2,000 some people were only 2,000 some kitty cats jumping around as always. Energetic eater and lots of zipping energy. They take and only 2,000 people plus would die. And I don't say that lightly, that the rest were spared. It could have been a lot worse. Okay? How quickly those towers come down, that it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Remember Mr. Whitey's son, they're 5 miles away in the 5 boroughs of New York, 5 miles away in Brooklyn Terminal Market, and said the buildings, I repeat, just vaporized. The people in them, many of them vaporized. And he said, Bill Clinton, the worst he got when he was in the White House was a blowjob. Okay? Poor President Bush II, he got sworn in, confirmed in January of 2001, and here on so February, March, April, May, June, July, August, not even 8 full months later, you would have the worst terrorist attack we ever had on U.S. soil. Okay, of course, the plane slammed into the Pentagon. I know people that work in there, and the Pentagon, the big hexagon building, administrative building for much of the U.S. military. A head office is say in Washington D.C. And we can't forget the people in United Flight 93. That term, let's roll. They knew what was going on. Let's roll. And they take and they knew they were going to be facing certain debt. They sacrificed their lives to spare greater damage. They were probably going for the U.S. Capitol, either the White House or U.S. Capitol. The White House isn't that big. Probably trying to hit the U.S. Capitol. Why do we have the terrorist attack? We just played the song "God Bless America." It's jealousy. There's people in the world that hate us in the United States. We don't want to be negative, but it's a fact. Hate us because they're freedom. People have freedom. Free enterprise. Belief in God. Belief in Allah. Belief in whatever. The freedom of religion, free enterprise, a free people that can determine our future. And there's people in the world like the Taliban and ISIS and so on. We live in I want to end on a positive note, but we live in a very dangerous time right now. We got Sleepy Joe. It's unconscionable what that miserable creep, fourth excuse I had for president of the United States ever, that miserable creep that occupies the White House right now, what he did in Afghanistan. The men and women that put their lives on the line and gave their lives. The Afghan civilians, the Afghan military, that he should leave Afghanistan in those circumstances. It's not good. We live in dangerous times. We have to be diligent, but we got to go on, live our lives, keep on going. It's wrong. It's wrong that people it goes back to jealousy. All wars, all conflicts in the world goes back to that terrible thing, jealousy. I see it in my own area here. Okay, many good people, but there's some that less intellect and they spend their time. You don't see, I often say in life, you never see a smart snot. I've yet to meet a smart snot. Okay, I mean, because you learn by reading and speaking to people. If you, by nature, by snot, you only speak to a little clique or certain family members or people in your social group. You learn by speaking to people, okay? So I've yet to see a smart snot. And I've yet to see a well-rounded, truly smart individual that's jealous. Now, a supermarket magnate around here with grade 6 or 7 education, booking course, built a huge business that employs 125,000 people. And the whole operations, retail, pharmacy, food, real estate, the whole thing. Transportation, transport the goods. And they said there was not a jealous bone in his body. Truly smart people aren't jealous. So, this Biden, and I will make the comment, had Blowjob Bill Clinton, I call him Blowjob Bill, not been so busy with extracurricular activities, I'm not blaming 9/11 him, but I said this from day one. The magnitude of the terrorist attack on 9/11 wouldn't have been as big as it was if he was paying attention to the store and reading his national security reports and so on. Our national security has got much better, but still, the groups try to coordinate the different agencies. But they take, and that said, we have a president right now, dangerous times. You got Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Calamity Camilla and Joe Biden. Oh, they are this is very dangerous times right now. There's no question about it. Okay, we will have other terrorist attacks, and due to who's in the White House that stole the election. With that, I thank God that that so many lives were spared. Yes, 3,000 people gone, and it's terrible and awful and horrible. But if a number of people in those buildings, 9/11 could have been a lot worse. And they sing it, my country, this of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, of thee I praise. They take United States remains a Christian country. We're under attack right now, even internally, with this biological germ warfare and the way Fauci handles it now, and corona passes and compulsory mask wearing and all this stuff. I had a piece the other night. It's on my Facebook page. Somebody sent it. Poor Jewish people that were so hurt, slaughtered in World War II under Nazis. And I showed 2 survivors in Hungary. Hungary had a large Jewish population, Eastern Europe, pre-Hitler. And they said, why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you do something? And they said, first was one law, yellow Star David they had to wear. Then it was another law. And this is what we face right now. There's people out there, including definitely in Canada and Canadian government. We see it both provincially and federally, and we definitely see it. The United States we are a freedom-loving country. And we see un-American activities right now when you see government wanting to run people's lives. It's wrong, rotten. So with that, I'm going to conclude by praying for all the people that lost their lives in the war since. And the war in Afghanistan was very necessary. If we didn't go after Osama bin Laden, if President Bush II didn't have the guts and courage to go after them, they think, and we would have had even worse situations. So we cannot condemn President Bush II or the first. He was a very fine man too. But this is basically it. I'm going to wrap this up. I've gone on longer than I expected right now. It's about 4 minutes before 12 noon. It as bad as it was, it could have been a lot worse. And fear is an awful thing. Do not be fearful, as I plagiarized President Bush II's words, live your lives, go about your business. So even though I say and feel we'll probably have another terrorist attack because of what's in the White House right now and what the rotten way they pulled out of Afghanistan, do not live in fear. Just go ahead and do your business. And with that, I say, God bless America. God bless my beloved, beautiful, wonderful United States of America. It does so much good for all of humanity, the whole world. God bless America, and God bless each and every one of you wonderful people. And thank you for viewing. Share this video far and wide. Press the subscribe button if you're so kind to, please. And get out to vote. Participate in the democratic process. If you ever knew how many people in the world can't vote, don't have the freedom to vote, you'd stand in line. If you had to stand in line, it was a country that, it was in South America after the Sandinistas were gone, and they got the right to vote. And they stood in the hot South American sun for hours, 6-8 hours, to get the right to vote. So you get in and vote when you have elections. Take every time's election, get out and vote. With that, all the best. God bless. And God bless America. Land that I love, and it's done so much good for the whole world and continues to do, remains a beacon of hope for people all over the world. Thank you very much. Bye for now.